Then I find it interesting that even though the team hasn't taken off these first 2 years under Mario Cristobal at 5-7 and 7-6, his obvious expertise, and not that he's the offensive line coach, of course, but just the attention to that position, given his ability to recruit, is arguably the best recruiter in college football. You put all those things into play, and you take a unit that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is arguably the worst unit over the last 5 to 10 years in this program, and now it might be the best unit on the team like that. And it was, there were times last year I'm watching this team, and the North Carolina game comes to mind. And even though they lost the game, they moved the ball up and down the field. Where I'm watching this offensive line, thinking, man, this is just such uh, a change from just a season ago. Remarkable improvement there.
Yeah, it's crazy what just 2 years do under a guy like Mario Cristobal and what he's able to bring to the table from a talent evaluation standpoint. I mean, obviously, not looking too far ahead, but August 31st, we play the University of Florida. And the last time we played that program in Orlando, we had a starting left tackle for the first time ever playing college football by the name of Zion Nelson, who was probably weighing 290 pounds soaking wet, had to gain 40 to 50 pounds just to look like somewhat of an offensive lineman by the time he got to campus. And we were heavily relying on this guy, and he did the complete opposite of what we thought he would. He gave up probably 9 or 10 sacks by himself, and that just goes to show you how important that offensive line and getting the physicality and the type of measurements that you need in order to compete on a weekly basis, not only in the ACC, but if you want to compete against the SECs and the Big Tens of the world. And with the offensive line we got now, Zion Nelson is nowhere to be found, and he's not someone that we're really depending on. We're starting to create depth. We have 7 to 8 guys that you O line. You got 2 guys currently on the offensive line that will be starting come August 31st that aren't even in spring camp right now. And yet it seems like our O line is still making progress, which is exactly what you want to see. We know with Alex Mirabal and Coach Cristobal, they love to cross train, and they use this springtime to do just that. They're going to cross train as many offensive linemen as they can for spring. These are the tryouts for our offensive linemen. Once fall camp comes, that's where they're going to start cementing these positions and kind of figuring out where the pieces need to fit with the puzzle. Because right now, a lot of these guys, they could play the left side, they could play the right side, but they're starting to figure out that at least 2 to 3 of these guys on the O line have cemented a spot. One of them is Jalen Rivers on that left tackle. One of them is your center and Zach Carpenter. And then you obviously got Inez Cooper and Francis Mayagoa on that right side, but Francis is out for the spring right now. So they're using different guys to throw in there. But I like where we're going with the offensive line. And I think by the time you see a starting 5 come August, you're going to see probably one of the most talented offensive line groups we've had since 2001.